Hi, Casey.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Casey. I'm the founder here of Attuned.ai. So we are a psychology-backed SaaS platform, and we are now starting to go global quite strongly. We're focused on the enterprise, and what we do is all about intrinsic motivation. So we're 95% psychology. It's kind of deep tech on the psychology spot. We have more psychologists on our team than a typical Japanese hospital. We're growing very well with major logos in Japan, and now we're getting some big logos internationally. So excited to be here. And I think here's the video, and I'm happy to answer questions afterwards.
That's
Attuned. So what we are is intrinsic motivation software, and we're creating a new category. So it's really deep psychology delivered in a SaaS model. And now we're actually raising our Series A. So if you're interested, please come talk to us afterward. So we found early product market fit. It's focused mainly on the enterprises, but actually our use case is quite horizontal. Now let me just show you the product. So we have our own proprietary assessment to find out people's intrinsic motivation. So the absolute key to this is it's not a personality test. Many people are used to seeing personality tests, and this is not a personality test. It simply shows what is people's motivation, what is their driver for work. And we're one of the first to do this online, so you can visually see it and interact with it. So here's mine. This is what drives me. So on the right-hand side, you can see what I would need from a manager or what I would need for my environment to be really motivated to go to work. And you can also see what I don't need. So I'm not doing this for money, right? I don't need a lot of feedback. Now, this is the key point because it's not looking at behavior. It's not looking at skills. It's not looking at personality. So I can accept feedback. I appreciate it. I understand it helps me grow, but it's not, again, what drives me for work. Now, when we're dealing with customers, when we have a manager or director, usually they're in their 40s, 50s, or 60s, that they're the champion to buy this. They unlock this and they say, aha, now I understand why I didn't really like that last role. Maybe I had high rationality needs, but my manager wasn't giving in that way. And people get this self-awareness. So that's the first step in their journey with Attune. And then the second step is when they see somebody else on their team. So this is a member of our team. She's absolutely fantastic, but she has different motivations than me. So her security needs are quite high. Financial needs are quite high. Status is quite high. So these are almost the opposite for me. So when companies can see the difference of somebody visualize. So I've visualized it right here for this member where we have opposite motivations. And really what we're studying is the opposite values, the opposite value hierarchy for work. This is when you have misunderstanding, you don't communicate very well, and now we can visualize it. And the system gives the communication tips to help each of us deepen our relationship. So it really builds that Shinraikan. So the journey with Attuned is through psychological safety. So when people become managers, usually they manage in the way that is most natural to them. But Attune shows you, okay, what are your blind spots? How do you communicate and understand somebody very different than you? And this is what the system does. So it leads to the inclusion part of things. Now, where we're helping enterprises is because enterprises are struggling in this volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. They need to be agile, they need to be moved quickly, but they have to engage employees, they have to have deep psychological safety, and many struggle. So many organizations, especially here in Japan, they're going from a very hierarchical, top-down leadership style, not worked for execution in the past, but to create new innovation, they need to be more independent. And what they have to do is on the right side, they have to manage in a different way, but managers don't often have this capability, right? And this market where we're getting budgets from a lot of companies, to help them with new managers, to help with faster onboarding, to help with executive leadership is a massive market. And a lot of it is in online. So we're taking kind of that online component and they spend big money on executive leadership training. Now we can help organizations across all sizes and stages and really to help managers understand their employees more deeply. Now the journey is self-awareness. Then it's to understand different members, And then it's to give nudges and communication tips to go towards psychological safety. So this is the path, and we can help companies go higher. Now, where we are in our development, we've just won one of Japan's largest HR Tech Award. We're also up for winning the grand prize for Japan's largest HR award. So we've been on CNN, Al Jazeera, so we're getting all these things. So there's a lot of different macro trends coming for us. Hybrid work, companies moving to innovation, recognition of the importance of the individual, new generations entering the workforce. Now we have deep psychology here. We've got first mover advantage, and we're growing well. So our numbers are up and to the right. We're going up almost to $1 million in ARR. Our net revenue retention is strong. Our number of users is going up. We have big name companies from Hitachi Systems to Dwango, and it's a land and expand, but we have a lot of global opportunity. We've got a great team that's growing very, very well, deep psychologists. We'd love to speak to you more. Again, we're raising our Series A. This was Attuned.
Okay. Thank you for playing the video, Danny. Some problems with my PC probably. But anyway, any questions from panels?
Actually, I have a couple of questions. If you don't mind, I'll go first.
Yep.
Hi, Casey. Spike here.
Hi, Spike.
From Singapore. Yeah. So I understand that you mentioned that your motivator reports are not about behaviors, but you are essentially still trying to determine some kind of a value or attitude, right, towards the job itself. Now, I'm trying to understand if a person change jobs or if their circumstances shift, do they have to constantly retake this motivation assessment?
So the answer is once a year, basically. So what we're looking at is people's values for work. So it's really a stack ranking of their value hierarchy. And this doesn't shift too quickly. So like values are the deepest part of the psychological profile. So you have behaviors at the top, which are visual, personality, which you can kind of see, and then values deeper. Values are mostly set in our developing years, in our teenagers, our kind of early 20s. But if we have a big life event, like changing an environment or then values can shift. They're not everything's going to shift, something a little bit. So to stay on the pulse, to understand what's going on with your own self-awareness, or if you're getting new members in, we have once a year we recommend. Anything, in between that isn't going to see major shifts for the most part, and is not kind of worth taking on that side. But I think one other thing that you brought up is, it's not about behaviors, but we are trying to change behaviors, right? It's about mutual understanding between two very different people. And in my example, I have high rationality needs. The member has low rationality needs. If I go in and debate with her and ask why, she's going to get frustrated all the time. So I need to change my behavior. And that's where the system gives us small nudges using kind of behavioral science to try to add the reflection and to change that. So taking the online to offline is the real kind of challenge we have to do over time.
Okay, so the second question relates back to how HR will interpret the results and apply or remedy solutions around it. And it seems like there is no straight cut solution. It's really open to how HR is going to interpret. For example, you say rationality, right? So I'm really thinking, if I'm HR, but I'm not well versed in psychology, what the hell am I going to do with it? What do I do from a policy standpoint? And I would take it that even the managers themselves will struggle to figure out what am I supposed to do next. So how would your company handle this?
So the education component, what you're talking about, is heavy, right? Like, not everybody understands intrinsic motivation. Where does intrinsic motivation end and extrinsic motivation start? And what is the interplay through personality? It's all a little bit complex. Yep. Our prime user is the manager, not necessarily HR. So HR, one of the use cases that they might buy Attuned across several divisions is for inclusion. They want, okay, we're doing diversity, which we can see, but we want more inclusion. And inclusion comes from that understanding and the compassion that understanding comes. Or if they want more innovation, then they're looking at it. So where Attune's the most strong is at the team level. So, and actually we resonate a lot with engineers. So almost half of the people that buy are kind of engineering divisions from that. And it gives, a language and a mutual kind of objectivity and science back to something that was, a little bit fuzzy, like the management of people and what is the motivation to do that. But that education component, because we are trying to create a new market, is really one of our biggest things. So we do workshops, we do ongoing one-on-ones with managers. So not only to help them understand the system, but what are the interplays and dynamics going on within their team, and give them tips to do it. So now we're still doing a lot of heavy service addition to do it. And steadily, as we figure things out, okay, this resonates, then we put it into the system. And one of our strengths is a very fast shipping cycle. So every 2 weeks, we're putting out new features.
I see. Actually, the third question is around the revenue model, because it seems like right now the revenue you're getting is primarily around the assessment, right? Somebody takes the test, you charge them per user or something like that. But what would be the future monetization model for you, assuming that your results could also be used by HR consultancy firms, recruitment firms, or any of those other potential adjacent industries where people can use that assessment as part of a recruitment tool or as part of a retention tool?
So actually our pricing, our kind of median pricing right now is $100 a year per user for it. And most of the companies that are buying it are doing it for some sort of cultural change. They want more innovation, they want more inclusion. Psychological safety, where members can feel to raise their own opinion and not feel like they're going to get their heads cut off, is kind of a big part of it. So actually one of the things is we're decoupling. So just doing the assessment where you can pay like $40 or $50 is kind of the next stage of the product. So you can use that in hiring or quick onboarding if you just want to use that feature. But it's the ongoing communication and how does a busy manager know that they're making progress in psychological safety or inclusion in my team? So we're showing that over time. Okay, the psychological safety is going up, the engagement is going up every 2 or 3 weeks. And because we know pinpoint what manages every individual, no matter the scale of the company, and it really is like a fingerprint, 1 in a million, then we can help make that journey very personalized for the manager. So it's kind of giving like a superpower to a manager that might not have all the skills or might not have all the language or maybe even not all the interest to do it.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. It's sorry for other panels, but thank you, Casey.
Thank you.